How can we maintain our good spirit, our good energy, our good vibes when you're put into these environments you necessarily don't want to be in? Hello, hello, lovely, and welcome to another episode of Loving Life with Court. Today, we are talking about a life that is loved includes protecting your peace. The holidays are approaching. I don't know about you, but sometimes I get a little bit nervous when the holidays come, meeting new people, meeting family members that you haven't seen in a long time, being around those that maybe you necessarily don't want to be around. But even beyond that, toxic environments can come up during not just during the holidays, but throughout the entire year, but especially during the holidays, and how, holidays and toxic environments are so intertwined is because the holiday season tends to amplify the underlying dynamics and emotions and stressors that are present in our environment. So, leading up to Christmas, if you have children, maybe you feel pressure of finances. I don't have children, so for myself, I personally stress over like scheduling and making sure I'm packing everything and, getting all the presents picked out and ready to go, especially I travel back home. So that's like just some minimal stress that goes on. It's normal to feel nervous if there's just some strange family dynamics, the people that you're surrounded by. But there's a reason why you can't always get away from toxic environments, and which goes even beyond family members. And it can be things like the workplace, your boss, your coworkers, even your employees, the people that you interact with throughout your day, like cashiers and gas attendants, or your neighbor, or drivers on the road. It can be hard to completely remove yourself from these environments. The holidays can really influence other people and just in general, the interactions that you have. So, how can we maintain our good spirit, our good energy, our good vibes when you're put into these environments you necessarily don't want to be in? Well, let's talk about how to deal with toxic environments. First thing I always go by is I can't control their behavior. I can only control my reaction. The power that we give to things has nothing to do with the so called thing and everything to do with how we react to that thing. Situations that come up, experiences, opportunities, trauma, it all has to do with reframing your perspective. And an example of that could be if a coworker constantly complains, remind yourself that their negativity reflects their struggles, not your reality. And instead of engaging, respond neutrally or just redirect the conversation to a constructive topic. And this can be even used for any people that come around you, is trying to keep in mind that most of the time, 99.9% of the time, the way people are acting is not actually towards you. It has everything to do with what's going on with them. And that goes to my next point on how to handle toxic environments is setting boundaries. Protect your emotional energy by setting clear boundaries, not just for others, but for yourself. So, like politely excusing yourself from gossip sessions or heated family arguments by just saying, I'd rather focus on positive topics right now. That word I find with some people I interact with that I necessarily may not want to sometimes. When you talk about positivity, it'll either shut someone down or you will connect on it. And when you talk about the growth you've had in your life, if you're focused on an optimistic lens with anything that's going on in your life, it's either contagious and that person reciprocates or they shut down. And the people that shut down, that's okay because you're staying connected to your values and your roots. And that leads me to creating space. Physically remove yourself from toxic situations when possible. So, if there's a holiday dinner and it becomes tense, step outside for fresh air or offer to help in the kitchen to avoid being in the center of conflict. I also don't know if you just heard my cat, so my apologies. But you can also practice creating space, like spending time in nature to ground yourself after dealing with toxic energy. And this will just help with putting yourself in an environment that kind of restarts you and refreshes you. And considering creating space, it's also important to protect your energy. So this goes from a physical level to a spiritual level, using any kind of spiritual practices to shield yourself from negativity. An example is like before entering a challenging environment, visualize a protective shield or bubble of light around you. That's just affirming, I'm surrounded by peace and positivity. And this can be practiced by like cleansing your energy after interactions using tools like sage or sound healing, or even just your breath, where you can focus on releasing and letting go and visualizing any energy that you may have absorbed that is not serving you is no longer yours to hold. This is a great practice for me. But considering, physical and spiritual practices, it's also important to stay focused on our communication. So, redirecting conversations when we can is so powerful, guiding conversations to a more neutral or positive place without engaging in negativity. So, it doesn't mean necessarily staying on the surface level, but actually encouraging people to just focus on the present moment, not what has to do with the future, nothing that's happened in the past, and just enjoying the time that you get to share with one another. When you can be the light for people, it can be very exhausting, but can also be so healing for your journey. And then, two concepts that are really the takeaways of today's episode, what we just touched on. Maybe you're already familiar with it, maybe not. But these two are a little bit more outside of the box and things that have really helped me with even going beyond what to do in toxic environments, but how to heal those environments for yourself, where you can be in certain environments and still protect your energy, remain calm and sane, and not leave feeling so drained. And the first one is forgive for your peace. Release resentment by practicing forgiveness, not for them, but for your own peace. And the way that I do this, a quick example, if a family member hurt you in the past, you don't have to forget it, but letting go of the grudge can free up that mental space for joy in the present. But an example that really helps me, or a practice that I do that really helps me with this, is just writing a mini compassion letter to any of the people in my life that, maybe the relationship I just struggle with. And it can be even people that you don't even know. It could be rude people that come up to you throughout the day and that you experience throughout the day. It could be maybe you have just a really mean concierge guy at your front desk. I don't know, whatever it is. But with this compassion letter, what I do is whenever I am just really wanting to repair react responses that I have to people's, if it's a certain person, if it's a certain experience, if it's a family member, I write a mini compassion letter to whoever it is, and just outlining that I forgive them, understanding where they came from, and what I'm going to try to do when I interact with them. Because it's not always guaranteed, but just trying, to be more patient with them, to not take on the pain of others, to find the concrete line of where their emotions start and where yours end. So, really focusing in on how can you forgive for your peace and actually outline how you're going to move on, how you're going to make things right for yourself. The second thing, and this is even more of a holistic approach, is let's say you're attending a family holiday dinner with a relative who just always criticizes your life choices. First thing you're going to do beforehand is visualize protective light and affirm, I am grounded and unshaken by negativity. I use this very often, and it's just such a great way to create your reality, affirm whatever it is that you want and desire, and going in with that level of confidence. Now, during that interaction, when they comment, if they comment, stay calm and just redirect the conversation or excuse yourself politely if it continues. Afterwards, journal about how you handled the situation. And the last one is getting so clear about your boundaries. I try to think of it as every time we have an interaction with someone that we necessarily didn't want to have, how was that serving us? No matter what is going on, whatever's thrown our way, there's almost always a reason we experience it. So, thinking that the interactions that come up in your life that you necessarily don't want or enjoy, they're part of your journey. So, reflecting after these interactions can really help you in learning what are your limiting beliefs that you have about yourself? Why do you get triggered by these things? How can you respond or improve in the future? You can't change other people. The only person you can change is yourself. So put more energy in how you can let go and not how the other person can stop being an asshole or whatever it is that's going on. That's today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. A friendly reminder to not only be kind to others, but also to your beautiful, amazing self. Don't forget to follow so you never miss another episode. And I will see you on the next episode. How many times can I say episode? Bye.